back, everyone. I'm with Tulsi, and I'm G-Man. We're on The Point TV. Hey, check us out sometime. We don't do a lot of stuff. We should do more.
Yep.
Should do more of this stuff.
Yeah,
it's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I think one of the last things I do want to talk to you about, because I think this would be good for kids, and you just mentioned in the last session that you would like to do something with kids and work with kids to build maybe their confidence and resilience.
Yes.
In a nutshell, what is resilience?
Well, I guess people talk about it as the ability to bounce back. Yeah.
And confidence then?
Well, confidence, gosh, I should have checked my definitions, shouldn't
Yeah.
I? So I think confidence is this idea of feeling able, having something within yourself that makes you feel like you can do something.
Did the word empowered not come into your lexicon just then?
No, it did not actually.
Do you hear a lot of that now, that every woman's empowered? Like, we're going to get women together and we're going to empower women. See, men don't want to be empowered because, here's a controversial statement, we are empowered. We don't need to be empowered.
Really?
So why is there this struggle for women to gain more confidence and to be more empowered? And there are so many women groups that want to get together and huddle around. Look at your frowning. Look at a little frown. I'm going to zoom into that. But there are a lot of
what you're saying.
But there are a lot of women groups. You know, there's retreats for everyone.
Yeah.
Retreats for, let's all come together as like-minded women. And when men get together, we just want to sit around a campfire and drink beer. So no, but why is that? Seriously, I know I jest, but
that's
why is it that there's such an importance placed on women wanting to be empowered?
Yeah, I think from work that I've done, that different times women do have a challenge around feeling confident to do things.
Why is that?
I don't really know. I know that studies have shown that women do tend to feel less confident, overall than men. And I don't know. I mean, there's a whole range of possible theories around that, but for me, the focus of what I do is really just around, let's have a look at what confidence is and whether it's the essential thing to taking action. And what I find, because I do quite a lot of work with women, and including at Dress for Success, which is an organisation that supports women in need find employment, and I see there's a lot of issues around confidence. But often there's this feeling like confidence is like a magic button, and you have to be able to press the confidence button to be able to take the action. But from my perspective, it's actually action that leads to confidence.
Right.
And that's the thing I think that messes with our heads sometimes. It's like, well, I don't feel confident, so I can't do it. But in fact, it's this idea of you need to do the things that are going to scare you or challenge you to get the confidence.
Give you an example.
Okay, well, it's interesting. I'll talk about myself personally. I was a very shy child, and I remember, I sort of couldn't talk to boys or teachers, I found it very, very hard. And I remember I came back to high school and I thought, I can't be that person anymore. So I walked into high school and consciously gave people eye contact, acted confident, and started approaching things in a different way. And I still felt scared, but just by taking that little bit of action, things started to change. And so as an example of, the women I work with, it's about saying, yes, when you go for that job interview, it is scary, but you need to do it in order to feel more confident about doing job interviews. So you do it the first time, you feel sick, totally sick, and it's so uncomfortable. You do it again, and perhaps it's just that little bit less, but it's not listening to all that mind stuff that says you can't do it and you're not good enough. And it's saying, okay, I am going to work towards feeling more confident by taking the action.
Could I throw out a challenge to a lot of women?
Well,
like, for example,
yeah.
I'm going to say this in the most gentle of ways.
I'm scared already.
Yes. Prior to us coming here today,
yes.
You called me up and you asked me, will my shoes be... will my feet be in the shot?
Yes, that is correct. I did say that.
Even between the breaks here, when we've had our little breaks.
Gerald.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
But no, the challenge here is about looking good.
Yes.
Right, the confidence.
Yeah.
So you said for us to get more confident, we should challenge ourselves. What if I was to say to a lot of the women, just go to work without makeup and lippy and, you know, eyeshadow and just like wash and brush your hair and do the things that you have to do. But what is the purpose of putting on the mask is what I see, which really diminishes how confident you are.
I don't know if I agree with you with that.
Don't have to.
I know, which is good, isn't it? That's why it's good. Yeah. Brene Brown does a lot of work around vulnerability, shame, and also has a look at women and men and the differences. And she's done a lot of research and interviews of people. And one of the things that she found, as far as more of a general kind of idea, is that women struggle with this idea of having to be perfect. So we certainly do face.
So they are insecure.
I think at a deeper level, a lot of us do feel that pressure for perfection, or to be the you know, the perfect mother, the perfect wife or partner, the perfect you know, to look perfect. And Brene Brown also says for men, it's about having to be kind of the man, you know, not falling off the horse, being the knight in shining armor, that kind of thing. So I do think that there are gendered challenges that men and women face differently. So I guess when you say, I challenge women to not put the mask on and not put the makeup on. Look, I mean, I don't think that there is that there's anything, wrong with that idea of, why do we have to, dress up, put makeup on, all those kind of things. But I think going deeper is just recognizing the challenges for women around looks and the pressures that face us as well.
And herein lies the problem for kids.
That's right.
This is the identity that kids want to see. They open up their flashy magazine, everything's been photoshopped. They see Tulsi now on here and they go, man, she looks just awesome. I want to be, no, seriously, I want to be just like Tulsi. There wouldn't be a bloke out there going, I want to look like Gerald. No one wants to look like Gerald. But they all want to look like Tulsi because you're...
I don't think that's true, by the way, but thank you.
No, but I think you're displaying an image that says I'm confident, I'm poised, I articulate well, I know how to communicate. Yeah. And so young women, young girls would be looking at that saying, I need to aspire to be someone like Tulsi. And that is such the wrong message, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, for me, when I say run workshops or do any of the work that I do, I consciously share the ways in which I feel vulnerable, because I think it is a real danger that we don't share that enough, so we can put people on pedestals or think, wow, he's got it all together, she's got it all together, I'm so much less than that. And I think that is such a shame, because really we're all struggling as human beings, and I'm certainly struggling in my own way, and we all go through that. And it's so important that we share that and we have those honest conversations. So even the young people know, okay, I see that person, maybe in the public, whatever you call it, just out there, and they seem to have it all together. When that person says, I don't have it all together, I struggle, I don't feel happy all the time, I feel insecure, or whatever it might be, that is such a liberating thing for everyone to know, I'm not alone. And I think that's, for me, that's one of the most powerful things around the work that I do, is making sure that people know that they're not alone in struggling.
So I'm curious, why do some women go to bed with makeup on?
You're asking me these questions I can't answer.
But if we're talking about insecurities, and then
I think that's the answer, isn't it? The insecurity. I think if we talk about this idea of perfection and the need for perfection, then different people respond to that in different ways. So perhaps, if you're saying that you know of women who go to bed with makeup, that must be something about not wanting to show themselves.
One of the most intelligent TV programs that, and I don't watch a lot of mainstream media because it just that's my head in and the free-to-air stuff, but there is one of the most intelligent TV programs that I think you would agree with me, which is Married at First Sight. Did you watch that?
Yes.
There was this guy called Telv who was with, I'm trying to think of her name.
Sarah.
So
I didn't watch it at all.
Sarah. But I read in an interview that she would not let her so-called husband be seen or see her without makeup on, and she would go to bed with makeup on, and you kind of think, if that was the marriage for the rest of the life, for his life, that's going to be hard for him to deal with.
Yeah.
Like at some stage, he's going to turn around. I love you for who you are, not who you want to be.
Yeah.
And so she would get that message from him, and she will still continue to wear her mask. So my question to you is even though a person will turn to a woman and say, "I just love you the way you are,"
Yeah.
why do they still seek for perfection?
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, isn't it, about loving ourselves and the challenge that we, particularly women, but I think, but men as well,
sure.
you know, face around. It's easier to love someone else than it is to love yourself.
Or epitomise someone else. Like to have a look at another person and say, I want to aspire to be like that person.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and everyone I know around, the challenge is to give that kindness and care and compassion to yourself in the way that you might give it to the person that you love the most.
So, back to a couple of episodes ago, rather than having empathy for other people, we should probably have empathy for ourselves.
That's
Is that
right.
no serious?
No, I think that is the ongoing work in progress, is to give ourselves the kind of love and support that we really do deserve, but we seem to find it so much easier to give to others at our best. And, you know, I mean, that example of the makeup, I mean, for me, you know, we can talk about that in different ways, but to me, the essence of it is, what is it about sort of the world we live in or who we are that makes us feel that we are not good enough to show ourselves? And that's something to explore and think about, and it's a challenge.
And so, if we have to attribute blame somewhere, where would we attribute that blame? So, if we go back to the 1600s,
Yeah.
you know, there were no
Yeah.
there were no TVs or magazines that we would worry about.
Yeah.
And it was all about covering ourselves up. It was all about being respectful and, you know, being nice kind of thing.
Yes.
So what do we attribute this insecure era that we're living in?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Perhaps people were insecure then too. I mean, maybe it's just a different expression of it now. I mean, I think our insecurities can probably be magnified more because there are more images to compare ourselves to,
True.
and perhaps there's more pressure in different ways. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm no expert on that issue as such, but I do feel that there is a real challenge around striving for perfection and then comparing ourselves to the images that we see, and we really have to concentrate to keep focusing on, you know, I am okay, and what do I appreciate about it myself.
So let me ask you, one of the things that you said was that back in your school days, you were quite a shy person.
Yes.
And then you made a decision for yourself to get up, to give people eye contact, and to not take yourself too seriously. I think maybe it was something like that, just to get up and be a new person, a new you. I don't know, you made that decision.
Yeah, to act more confident so I could be more confident.
Yeah, to act more confident.
Yeah.
What would you say to a person who now says, I'm about to give a speech, but I fear getting up on stage and having thousands of pairs of eyes look at me? How do I overcome that to appear more confident?
Well, the first thing I would say is, you know, every time we stretch our comfort zone, we will feel discomfort. We'll feel probably sick in the stomach, and it's actually an awful feeling. Like, I don't really like that feeling either. But it's kind of part and parcel with putting yourself out there. So for me, one of the things is around acceptance, kind of accepting if I'm going to stretch myself, if I'm going to do something that is scary, and scary for a lot of people, I am going to have those sick feelings, and it's not going to be great, but I'm going to feel really good afterwards. And another thing I think is a great kind of question, is this worth failing for? So, you know, because I think sometimes the fear is around, oh, will I do a good enough job? But if we think about it, is it worth failing for? This is what I say to myself quite a lot, because a lot of the work that I do is putting myself out of my comfort zone and does make me feel sick. And sometimes I go, why am I doing this? But I think to myself, you know what, it is worth failing for, because what I'm doing is something that I know in my heart is what I want to do, and it will make a difference to people's lives. So that's how I kind of frame that, I guess,
It has been, like, for this hour that I've had with Tulsi, it has been so enlightening. About 45 minutes, I think we got together. It has been so enlightening. All the details are on the screen where you can contact Tulsi and maybe have a chat with her. You're open for a discussion, aren't you?
Totally.
Somebody, what about overseas people?
Yep.
Just put a +61 in front of that, and that will get you to Australia. And then you can chat to the woman. You've been watching The Point TV. I'm G-Man, Gerald Pauschmann, and this was
Tulsi.
See you later.